Hello grade 10 theory students. We're back with more structural analysis, and today we need to talk about rondo form. Rondo spelled R-O-N-D-O. There will be in grade 10 history an R-O-N-D-E-A-U, which does not mean the same thing. So here we go. We have learned in one of my previous videos that rondo is a form where the A section keeps coming back, and the original one that I had given you a lesson on was Fur-Elise, that this is your A section, and that after it is finished we have a 3-chord link, and then we're into B section, which opens in F major and ends in C major. At the end of the little, we have a link or transition that gets us back to our A section. That's also all about the note E, so you could say that that had a suggestion of a pedal point in there too. The A returns is played in its full length, and then when we get to the C section, and it starts in the key of A minor, but then seems to have D minor thrown in. It's very stormy, and then when we get to the finish of that, we end up with, yes, you guessed it, another link where we're doing and we finally get to our A. And in this case, it's just the A section. There's no codetta, there's no coda. He just uses it simply as A, B, A, C, A. That is your basic situation with what a rondo is. Grab your grade 9 repertoire book for the RCM and look up a little piece called Butterfly by Grieg. You're going to find that this is an even easier formatting for rondo form because it goes A, B, A, B, A. There's only 2 ideas that keep going back and forth. And it seems quite right then that it would be called butterfly because that's what the wings do, is they go back and forth. So it's a great one to actually sit down for sight reading purposes and then, of course, analysis. Today, connected to this video in a link, is one of the Viennese sonatas, one of the Viennese sonatina movements of Mozart. He has a series of these that were originally ensemble pieces, and they've been put for piano here. And what I have is the last movement of the very first sonatina, Viennese sonatina. And so print that out and off we go. In the printout, I have made this so that it's actually fairly straightforward to figure out how this whole thing goes together. We need to find A section. And look at this, delightfully, it starts at the beginning and it's in the key of C major. Now, one of the things that happens is that a lot of people go, oh, look, there's a repeat sign, so I'm going to put a capital B here. And then there's a repeat sign, it's new material, so I'm going to put a capital C here. That's not how this goes. Every repeat sign is not a capital letter. You have to look at the key structure to figure out how all of this goes. The B and the C section are traditionally in new keys. So when we look at the first page and we gaze through this, we notice that lines 3 and 4 seem to have some flats added in that are not there in either the first 2 lines or the bottom line. So when I look at that, I indeed discover that it's an E flat and an A flat. We have gone to C minor. The parallel minor is considered closely related, even though it is more than 1 sharper flat away from the home key. So we are going to put our capital B at the beginning of line 3. And we're going to write in there that that one's in C minor and that was in C major. Now you'll notice that, like many things, from this period, by the end of the line, you've gone to the dominant key of C minor, which would be G minor. We should be alternating between home stuff and new material. So the fact that we look down at measure 36 and say, oh, that's the opening. There is your A, and we're back into C major. Now, sometimes when composers are playing around with composing a rondo form, the A comes back exactly the same, mostly the same, or it comes back but the accompaniment keeps changing. Sometimes something that's 16 bars long comes back and it's only 8 bars long, or it comes back and it's 32 bars long. The A section does not have to be verbatim the same as the opening. But in this case, look at that, it does. And right at the end of that cadence, we end up seeing that there is a new key signature. We have one flat in the key signature. We have gone capital C to F major. So on the second page, we are capital C right here, F major. I'm just going to take this one moment and say, I was battling with Finale when I was popping it into the computer this morning. These bar numbers do not match what would happen in actual music because it was counting the 2 half bars as 2 full bars. So these bar numbers are not going to make sense. So we notice that the F major goes for 2 lines, and then indeed at 72 we end up with the A section returning again. Now we have so far had the A section 2 times before that was exactly 16 bars long, so let's count this one out. And we actually discovered that it does end right before the end of the page, just one note, but then there's all of this stuff. There's your coda. And in this case, we call it a coda rather than a codetta because of its length, and that the musical content is actually developmental in nature and not just about the 5 and the 1 chord. So that is putting your capital letters on your rondo form. But you know, we're not done. There's more fun to come. We need to go back and figure out what our subforms are, because many rondo forms are compound forms that have form within form. So if I just grab a different color, we can see that when it came to the A section, we have a repeat sign in the middle. So that means that we can put a little A by our capital A and a little B after that. Now notice, so I'm doing my small letters in red. This will have both labels. You cannot say just one of them. It is both. This whole area is the A section, but this is little a, this is little b, and then we look to see whether we have a situation where the repeat of the opening is here, and the answer is no, the repeat of the opening is not there. So we do not have rounded binary. Does that mean it's regular binary? Well, in this case, if you can have a peek at the last 5 chords, 6 chords, at the end of the little A section. Now let's look at the end of the next line. It is the same thing. So this would be balanced binary because it's the ending of the A section that is referenced instead of the beginning. So I'm going to put the word balanced binary by my capital A. Now our B section also has repeat signs to guide us, but before you put anything down, please know you cannot put little a anymore unless it's that melody. So that means that at the pickup at the beginning of line 3, which they call bar 18, this is little C and this is little D. This is not the same melody as that. and this is not the same melody as that. So thus we have to keep those separated. And then we look at this and we go, okay. There are reminiscences. For the most part, we would be looking at our B section as being binary. There's a slight allusion to the balanced binariness. I believe at an exam we would accept both. Then we have our A section, and if we were putting more little letters in here, this is where you would put little A at 36 and B at 45. And now we have capital C section. I'm going to put down that sheet so I don't drop it. Okay, we have a new melody. We've used A, B, C, and D. That means we are to E and F. And we are to binary form again. So here's E, here's F. This part here is not this, and it's not that either. So it's neither rounded nor simple binary, so that is straight binary and an E and an F. And then at 72, we have a little A. At 81, the pick up to 81, we have a little B. Okay, so here's the thing. It does not matter whether the repeat signs are there or not there. It is still the A section, and sometimes those things change. They might be there more often. Sometimes they're only there a couple of times. So in here, that is how you would subdivide this piece. Now, it happens that there is not links and transitions in this particular example. It was just all of those sections right next to each other. But it's an excellent piece to understand how to label the capital letters and the little letters within our rondo form. So have another peek at Fur-Elise. Make sure you're comfortable with that. Print out the sheet below in a couple of weeks and see whether you can remember how to do it without coming back to the video. And if not, come back to the video and see me again. And yes, you know, I will be back again with yet more help for theory analysis.